We're in the bunker for a special red tape update with PSA General Secretary John Carl, who's just come back from the High Court where he's achieved a major win for PSA members. John, what's happened in the High Court this morning?
In the High Court this morning, the court granted the PSA leave to appeal against the O'Farrell government's unprecedented legislation which restricts the power of the Industrial Relations Commission of New South Wales to award fair and proper increase to public sector workers.
So this now means a full court is going to see whether the O'Farrell government's 2.5% cap is legal or not.
That's exactly right, and that case will be heard later this year in Canberra by the High Court.
So what's the guts of the legal argument that the PSA has put forward today?
Well, the Industrial Relations Commission has existed for over 100 years, and it's an independent body. It's an independent umpire, if you like, that sets fair wages and conditions for workers in New South Wales. What the O'Farrell government has now done is impose an artificial cap of 2.5% on wage rises that the Commission can award to public sector workers. We say that's unwarranted and unnecessary interference with the independent nature of the Industrial Relations Commission, and that's what we're appealing to the High Court.
And obviously the High Court this morning said you do have a case to answer. Did the government oppose that?
Yes, the government was down there with barristers opposing our application. They said we shouldn't have the right to have our case heard, but the High Court saw it differently and they granted us the leave to appeal to the court later this year.
So what will be the implication of a successful challenge by the PSA?
If the challenge is successful, it will mean that the 2.5% cap will go. It will mean that the PSA can continue to run the case that we had to stop last year when this legislation was introduced, and we'll be able to get pay rises over and above 2.5%, which last year was less than the rate of inflation.
And where are members' wages while this case is waiting to be heard?
Well, at the moment we're still hamstrung by that legislation. The 2.5% limit is still there. We of course would call on the Premier to have another look at that legislation, to understand that the Industrial Relations Commission is the independent umpire and shouldn't be improperly interfered with in the way that his legislation does. We have no confidence that he'll do that, of course, but we'd certainly call on him to do that. So while the case is heard, that draconian legislation still stays in place.
And I know you're not a betting man, but what would be the chances of this High Court challenge getting up?
We're confident but not overconfident. We're very, very hopeful that this will get up because it affects the livelihood and the well-being of over 350,000 people in New South Wales. So we hope the Commission can be restored to its rightful place as an independent umpire, and it's able to award proper wages and conditions to public sector workers.
Well, that's a big case coming on. We'll keep tabs on either the Red Tape magazine or off the PSA website. Thanks for your time, John.
Thanks, Peter.